All right, let's talk about something big, the EU AI Act. Now, there's this one deadline everyone's got circled on their calendar. But what if I told you that focusing on that date is it's a huge miscalculation. Let's get into why.
So, let's start with a really simple question. A question that, honestly, if you're a leader working with AI, you should probably know the answer to off the top of your head. When is that EU AI Act deadline?
Yup, August 2nd, 2026. That date, it's practically tattooed on the brains of compliance officers and CIOs everywhere, right? And I get it, it feels like it's pretty far away, like we've got some breathing room.
But hang on. Let me ask you a different question. A much more important one, actually. When does all the prep work need to be done? Not started, but complete. Because that, my friends, is a totally different ballgame. And spoiler alert, you have way, way less time than you think.
Okay, so here's the absolute heart of the matter. That August 2026 date, it's not some deadline to file a bunch of paperwork. No, it's the date your organization has to demonstrate that you have a living, breathing, fully operational system for AI governance. And that difference is, it's everything. And this right here really nails the central misunderstanding. So many people believe that being ready just means having some policies written up, a few committees on the books, and maybe a binder full of documents collecting dust. But the reality? The reality is so different. Regulators are going to want to see real demonstrable skill from your people. They're going to want to see oversight systems that actually, work. And they'll check if the people in charge have real authority to step in and say stop. It's all about proving you can do the thing, not just that you wrote a nice plan about it.
So this big misunderstanding, it creates 3 massive gaps in preparation. These are the exact spots where most organizations are frankly falling dangerously behind. Let's break them down one by one. First up, we've got the competency gap. You see, Article 4 of the Act talks about AI literacy. But listen, just having your team click next on some online training module, that's not going to cut it, not even close. You have to prove for each specific job role that your people actually get the AI systems they're using. A little certificate of completion is just not the same thing as real, provable competence.
Okay, next up is the accountability gap. For any of those high-risk AI systems, the Act says you need a human watching over it. But what are a lot of companies doing? They're just slapping a name on a role and calling it a day. That's just oversight on paper. Real accountability? That means the person in that role has the actual power and the tools to challenge, to stop, or to change what an AI system is doing. The real question is, can they actually say no and make it stick?
And number 3, the documentation gap. And look, this isn't about those fancy policy documents you spent months writing. Pretty much everyone has those. No, this is about the operational proof, the real evidence. Can you, right now, pull up risk assessments for every single system? Is your system register current? Can you show the board and regulators that your governance program isn't just some wishful thinking on a slide deck, but a real, functioning part of how you do business every single day? All right, so now let's connect the dots. Let's see how these 3 gaps create a massive ticking clock problem for you. Because the moment you stop thinking about this as just filing paperwork and start thinking about it as building a real capability, let's just say the calendar starts to look a whole lot scarier. So check this out. This timeline really lays it all out in black and white. And this is a conservative estimate, okay? We're talking about a company that has its act together and has resources. First, you've got your readiness assessment and finding the gaps. That's going to take you a good 6 to 10 weeks. Then designing your accountability structure, tack on another 6 to 10 weeks. Rolling out a real role-based AI literacy program, you're looking at 8 to 12 weeks. Building the actual guts of the governance infrastructure, that's the big one, 10 to 16 weeks. And then finally, pulling together all that operational evidence, another 4 to 6 weeks, easy. So what's the big takeaway here? When you add it all up, you're looking at a 5 to 6 month project, minimum. This timeline shows that if you start today, you're already pushing right up against and maybe even past that August 2026 deadline. Let me be blunt. Any company that waits until later this year to get started, there's just no way. You will not be ready in time. Okay, so what do? I'm not just here to scare you. The key is to stop planning and start building, and you can literally start this week. So for any leader watching, here are 3 things you can do right now. First things first, figure out where you actually are. Not what the fancy reports say, but the real ground truth. Get an honest look at your skills and your governance. Second,
Right away, you need to identify every single AI system you have that might be considered high risk under the Act. That becomes your immediate priority list. And third, and this is the most important one, start building. Don't write a plan to build. Don't form a committee to talk about building. Start putting the pieces in place now.
Because at the end of the day, this isn't just some compliance thing you hand off to the legal team. It's not a paperwork problem. It's an operating model problem. This is about changing the fundamental way your business works in the age of AI. It's about weaving governance right into the DNA of your daily operations. So I'll just leave you with this one final thought. Take a hard look at your own company's efforts. Are you all treating this like a paperwork problem that you just need to file and forget? Or are you treating it like the fundamental core operating model challenge that it really is? Because your answer to that question, well, that's what's going to decide if you're actually ready for August 2026.